I'm having these really deep, dark thoughts about myself and I don't know what to do. I'm scared. I have no direction to go. We need to mindset shift that to, what is this trying to teach me? What is life trying to teach me at this moment? Just because I'm not there right now doesn't mean I can't get there. It's because I know I'm actively doing what I can, what is in my control to get to that point. Hey everyone, welcome to the Highest Version Podcast. I'm your host, Randy Philivong, and on this podcast, we talk about falling in love with the process of getting better every day, becoming the highest version of ourselves. Guys, coming into this solo podcast episode, I honestly thought I had nothing to talk about. And that's because all these solo podcasts that you guys have been hearing has been reflections of whatever month that, has gone by in that time. So I'm really was trying to plan and understand what's the format of the other solo podcast episodes if it hasn't been the end of the month yet. And honestly, I'm really excited to get into the format, and it's something that I think will always ever evolve, just like how my brand is. So without further ado, let's get into it. So let's start off with quick updates on how I have become the highest version of myself. If you guys are watching this via YouTube or video, as you guys can see, the hair is finally coming in. I am so excited that my hair is actually falling down from growing out so long. I buzz cutted my hair back in, it wasn't even buzz cut. It was damn near full zero all around. But that's because my grandma passed away, I believe late last year. Not believe, I know she did. Sorry. Cut. Yeah, my grandma passed away late last year, and I became a monk for a day because that's what happens in my culture. Lao culture is that to pay respects and to give, whether that's power, money, whatever it is, to my grandma in the heavens, just giving her that spiritual power as she's up there. So I used to have a comb over and a buzz cut in my head, and it was crazy to start all over. But I was like, you know what? Why not try to grow out my hair like full on longer than my eyebrows? And I am okay with the process. It's been a long process, especially because I have a big ass forehead. So that's a big obstacle to let my hair fall down all the way to my eyebrows. And not gonna lie, it's been frustrating, but this is a huge breakthrough that I'm like, okay, I finally see the vision. So for those who are listening, the haircut that I'm currently having right now is a messy mid part. And I tried a mid part before, like jokingly, and it did not look good. So this is all new to me. And I actually tested this hairstyle at a wedding that I went to recently for friends. I'm not gonna lie to you, I had insecurities because this is a hairstyle that's completely new to me, and I didn't know how people would react. But to combat that insecurity, I told myself, hey, the mindset shift that we're going to go into tonight is if I like it, that's all that matters. I did get positive feedback, and I was happy to get positive feedback of like, oh, like I see the vision. I see how this is a very nice look for you. And honestly, I can't see myself going back to the comb over. What's funny though is that a friend of mine gave me a very interesting positive feedback. He's like, I like the hair. He asked, did you intentionally, put gray streaks in your hair? I was like, bro, no, that's just all stress. And he's like, oh, you should stress more. And I was like, what the? So out of pocket. But I knew he was joking. We had a good laugh about it. And I'm really happy of how I stuck throughout the journey because again, super frustrated about it. So let's see how my hair continues to grow, and just waiting for like these sides to come down over my eyebrows to kind of give that nice, edgy, maybe like 90s look per se. I don't know. We're rolling with it. We are rolling with it, you guys. Second update is this past month, I've had a quarterly, quote unquote, quarterly review of my goals with a good friend of mine. And we were talking about, what we were accomplished, what we are progressing towards. And if you guys remember from the last episode, I said I didn't really accomplish anything. I accomplished one thing, which was paying off my student loans, which again is huge. But other than that, I was like, I didn't do anything else. As we had a conversation throughout the night and talking about the bingo cards that we made for our, 2026 goals, she was like, yo, what the like you accomplished so much. Like, you did this, and this. And I was like, oh, I actually did do a lot of these things. And I was able to cross off 6 out of the 25 boxes in my bingo card. And it felt great. But it's also a reminder that we are our own harshest critics. So whatever goal I was shooting for may not be in like that kind of habitual or fully feeling like I have accomplished it. I actually did. And we talked about, factual based evidence of, yeah, you did accomplish this. So you should cross it off at this point. And it felt great. And just a good reminder that, hey, we are our own harshest critics. And kind of a funny response of, she's like, what the like, why are you actually so hard on yourself? So those are my quick updates. Let's get into the structure that I have planned for today's episode. So I have 3 different bullet points for us today. One is one thing that has helped me become the highest version of myself in my current state. 2, what am I progressing to become the highest version of myself of that, definition that I have. 3 is, what is something that I wish I knew sooner to become the highest version of myself? So 3 bullet points, 3 ideas. Can't wait to get into them. So without further ado, let's do it. So the first thing is one thing that has helped me become the highest version of myself. One thing that always resonates with me is understanding that comparison is the thief of joy, whether that's about looks, success, material things. When we compare ourselves to other people, we always have that, oh, I wish I had that, or I'll never get to that point. It's always lowering ourselves on the bottom of the totem pole and really kicking our self-worth to the ground. And in order to combat this negative thoughts and negative intensity, we need to have a mindset shift. And that mindset shift is understanding that we all had a different come up. Our life experiences, our decisions, everything is different for everyone. We have to understand that that person may have gotten there quicker because of the resources that they had, or a life experience that has pushed them to a certain point of that success. It is truly understanding that we all start somewhere, that we all are our own paths to growth and progress and getting to the things that we want to achieve. And sometimes it just takes longer than others. And that's the same thing that I've been talking about with my guests. And this mindset I have is, we always think there's this mindset that there's always this sacred timeline that we all have to follow, but we don't. We could fall in love at an earlier age, or fall in love with the love of our lives at the age of 40, 50. There are so many stories about that. People creating businesses later in their life and becoming successful too. There is no sacred timeline, and we have to understand that we are on our own path and journey. Another mindset shift that I had too was actually praising that person in a healthy way and saying, I'm glad that they feel like they are confident in themselves, or I'm glad that they know that they have, a nice Gucci belt or wallet or whatever it is, whatever we are desiring, because it's understanding like, hey, congratulations to you, and I'm going to be there someday. It's a lot healthier than putting yourself down, because you're going to get there at some point. You know that you have the capability to be confident in yourself and bet on yourself to achieve great things and achieve the things that specifically you want to achieve in the life that you want to build. It's just going to take some time. And even going up to that person, if you're comfortable, if you know that person, saying, hey, how did you get to this state that you are in? How did you achieve these certain things? For example, in the gym community, and it's something that should be in the gym community, go up to the biggest, or not the biggest, but the persons that you idolize from afar. That like, hey, I want to get to that, body aesthetic, or I want to lift that certain amount of weight, whatever it is, and ask them, how did they get to that point? That person, 99.9% of the time, is always willing to help you out. Like, they are not going to be like, oh, be gone. Like, you don't deserve, my presence, something like that. That's something that's very overplayed in like TV shows and all that stuff. Like, that's just not a real thing. But going up to them and saying, how did you get to that point? How did you get to where you are now? And listening to their story and understanding the things that made them successful, and then applying that to your life. It's really taking away that negative portion that we have of comparison and putting in action and positivity towards it, right? This quote by Theodore Roosevelt is true. At first, it's talking about that first portion of comparing ourselves, taking away the joy of the progress that we have made. In this certain situation that I'm talking about is, say, hey, we are progressing towards financially, right? Say we are trying to clear a debt that we have, but it's taking time because of the job that we have, or we're looking for a job. But other people have already paid off their student loans because of the position that they're in, right? If we are comparing ourselves to where they are at a financial health wise, it's really taking away your own small wins and progressions that you have already have. You are working towards it. It's just that you're not there yet, and that's okay, because you are actively working towards being financially healthier, or paying off that debt, getting $1 closer. So there are many ways where this comparison just strips away a lot of the joy that we have for ourselves, whether that we're progressing towards a goal, or taking away just our own self-worth and who we are as a person, who we are as a human being. I think having the importance and having a good understanding that comparison is something that can take away my joy, but realizing from a healthy matter of, hey, I want to get to where that person is. And if I have an opportunity to ask them how they got there, I can take that. I can take that opportunity too. Also understanding that person may have a different come up than I have, how they grew up may be different, or the resources that they have may be different, and being okay with that, and just understanding that just because I'm not there right now doesn't mean I can't get there in the future, in the near future, whatever it is, because I know I'm actively doing what I can, what is in my control to get to that point. I think a good pillar, a good foundation of understanding that comparison is the thief of joy has helped me become the highest version of myself today. Moving on to the second thing, what is one thing that I am progressing towards to become the highest version of myself? If you guys listened to the last solo podcast episode, I talked about how I have redefined what being the highest version of myself means. Because originally, I was focused on everything physically. I wasn't really focusing on or prioritizing things from a mental standpoint, because I felt like I built all that kind of foundations through the 5 to 6 therapies that I had. But through a past experience and negative thought that had used to come up during therapy that actually pushed me towards therapy, that have pushed me towards my depression, it came up again. And it completely redefined what I felt about my self-worth, or what I thought about my self-worth. And, I was like, you know what? I need to revisit this, because obviously I can't let go of my past. I don't have a good relationship with it. These negative events it's like my brain's a flash drive, and they're just specific things that cannot be deleted from that flash drive. I'm really focusing on finding answers and information through podcasts. One podcast podcast episode I've listened to is Love, Success, and Happiness by Dr. Lisa Mari Bobby. So make sure I got that right. Dr. Lisa Mari Bobby. Cool. And she gave 3 reasons as to why someone can't let go of the past. And reason number 1 is feeling like you made an irreparable mistake, resulting in regret, shame, and guilt. Growing up in an immigrant household, I feel like if you weren't perfect, or any mistakes that you have made or brought back a bad grade or bad performance resulted in shame and hardcore shaming. And that sucked. That was the thing that I felt like my brain held on to, using shame as a safety system of, hey, you can't do this again. And if you do, I'm going to shame the shit out of you. Oh, that's a tongue twister. But shaming and self-sabotaging myself so that I won't do it again. That shame is tied to a lot of the things that happened in my past. I made some decisions in my past where I'm not really proud of. And I feel like we all been there. I feel like my brain, like I've just discussed, is just using that shame element to put myself down and to self-sabotage myself and not allow myself to feel like I am enough. Even though I talked about, hey, I do feel like I am enough now. Again, redefining what the highest version of myself means, and just in the current state that I am. Again, using that shame to just feel like safety again, to feel safe again. But we all know that's just not the case, and shame just brings us down even further. I need to take time to dissect that first reason to relieve that shame, relieve that guilt, relieve that regret, because that is the thing that I feel like is really holding me back from letting go of the past. The second reasoning she has talked about is feeling like you betrayed someone or you were betrayed by someone. Unfortunately, I had both of those happened to me that I still can't let go of, where one, I feel like from another person's perspective, like I have betrayed them. And then from my own personal view, I felt like I was betrayed by other people because I was asking for help. I feel like it was a burden, but I feel like my friends at that time or the people around me didn't want to help, except for one person that I know was always there, even through just the mess of a person I was at that time. But again, that's an older version of myself, and I feel like I'm just progressing towards, again, the highest version of myself. And the third reason they had is living a trauma that is still unresolved. I'm like teeter-tottering on that one because I feel like I have resolved for the most part of it. But then again, I'm contradicting myself right now because obviously it's not resolved if I'm talking to you guys about not able to letting go of my past. I feel like the certain parts of it I have resolved, but I think that, again, shame, regret, guilt part of it is still needing to be resolved. So that is what we are working on now. Overall, something I come to find out about is the narrative that I have of myself has not been defined yet. The self-narrative that I have of myself is still being run by that version of myself in college when I was having suicidal thoughts and depression. That's the narrative my brain sticks to. And now moving forward, it's my time to redefine who Randy is, what the highest version of myself really means, and just redefining who I am as a person and that self-narrative so that I can stick to that to combat to that old version of myself. So as you know, finding your own self, finding your own identity is a whole journey in itself, and it takes years to do that. But I'm willing to be on that journey and to really just be present in it. And I just can't wait till I get to the point where I feel like I love myself again. It's just these little things that really don't give me the opportunity or present a roadblock to not loving myself. So again, more progression to get towards that. Those are 3 reasons that I picked up so far through a podcast, and I just need to dissect it and relate it to those life experiences or events that keep replaying in my head like a movie. So yeah, good progression there. We're just going to keep moving forward. And on the third question, what is something that I wish I knew sooner, is understanding the victim mindset. Now, if you don't know what the victim mindset is, I'm just going to bring up a definition from Google here. The definition is: a victim mentality is a learned, dysfunctional cognitive mindset where individuals consistently perceive themselves as helpless victims of circumstances, external events, or others people's actions. You may have heard someone who has a victim mindset. This is something that I picked up from, I believe, Jay Shetty, listening to his podcast, this whole idea of victim mindset of someone who's saying, why is this happening to me? Those moments in life where we just have a lot of negative things hit us over and over again. And it's super frustrating. It's super sad. We all have been there before, but we cannot stick in that mindset of, hey, life is punishing us for no reason. If we stick in that, we're just going to sulk in it and time's going to pass by. We are letting go of this idea of control. And I'm not saying that we need to control everything in our life, but there are things that we can, and we need to take the opportunity to do it. Yes, there are things out of our control, and we just have to react and respond to them in the best way that we can. But we cannot let ourselves get into this mindset of why me, why this, why are these negative things happening to me? We need to mindset shift that to, what is this trying to teach me? What is life trying to teach me at this moment? I'll bring up a recent example. I was doing so well with, being consistent in the gym, having that same intensity, but then I hurt my neck and I got the stomach bug back-to-back weeks. I did have that initial thought of, why me, bro? Like, why am I getting these things at such bad timing? Like, I was on such a good progression on this cut. Why is this happening to me? Once I took a step back and realized I was in this victim mindset instead of a growth mindset, I said, what is life trying to teach me right now? And what life was trying to teach me at that point, I think, after reflecting, was you got to slow down. You are pushing yourself beyond your limits. You're only getting 5 hours of sleep. You're not nutritioning yourself to a good point. You're getting close, but you are just not, you're go and not allowing yourself to breathe and let yourself recover and let yourself listening to your body. I've always been someone that has pushed my body to its limits, has pushed my mind to its limits, and I've always suffered the consequences because of it. Yes, has that helped me build resilience and get through things? Yeah, for sure, but there's a balance to it. And I just took it as life is like saying, hey, slow down. I know you want to accomplish these things, but you can't kill yourself along the way to doing it. There is no goal to be achieved if you're not even there. So I think it's really understanding that instead of having a victim mindset, we need to have a growth mindset. Instead of asking yourself or telling the world or telling the universe, why me? Why are you doing this to me? Shifting that is, what are you trying to teach me? What is the universe? What is life trying to teach me? What can I learn from this? What do I need to do to make sure that this doesn't happen again? Or how can I respond better? There are so many growth mindset, different questions besides why me, and letting yourself think life is punishing you and you have no control over it, because that's not true. That's not the reality. You do have control in the decisions to help yourself get back on your feet and progress towards whatever goal you're achieving, but also navigating and moving through life. Because again, as harsh as it sounds, and not a lot of people want to hear this, life does not stop for anyone. We just have to respond and react in the best way that we can to help ourselves keep moving forward and build the life that we want. That is something that I wish I knew sooner, because that was a mindset that I had in high school, saying nice guys finish last. I was not putting myself out there. I was not confident in myself. So yeah, whoever's saying nice guys finish last, you guys got to take that mindset out. You guys are totally in the victim mindset, and you just got to go for it and get and understand how to take rejection, because that is something that is going to help you in much, much later years of your life. Those are the 3 questions and structures, or 3 pillars of this solo podcast episode that I'm testing out. And honestly, I really love it, because it showed you guys, what have I done to help me become the person that I am today? What am I doing to progress? And, I wouldn't say regrets, but just wishes or things that I wish I learned sooner, so that you don't have to take that same amount of time as me to understand a lesson or life advice or a mindset shift to help yourself become the highest version of yourself. So hope you guys really enjoyed that. All right, guys, going on to another favorite part of this episode, it is questions from the audience. So let me get the first question up right now. So this person asks, when did you know that you should get therapy? The moment I knew that I should get therapy is when I was having suicidal thoughts about myself. And I felt like there was a part of myself that understood that I actually didn't want to leave this world, that I want to be living it the way that I want to. But there were just so many, I wouldn't say things, but so many thoughts where I felt like I was just hurting people. I felt like it was easier to remove myself rather than continue to hurt people, because, that's what I didn't want to do. Not only that, but I was in a state where I felt like I was alone. There was one person that was constantly listening to my rants and cries and all that stuff that was there, but I felt like I was just burdening them. I was just in the mindset where I feel like I couldn't talk to someone without having some sort of bias, and I felt like I was alone. So all those 3 factors helped me realize I need to talk to someone who's unbiased and someone who's professional in this, because I have no answers. I'm having these really deep, dark thoughts about myself, and I don't know what to do. I'm scared. I have no direction to go. So that's when I really understood when I needed to go to therapy, because it just gave me someone who is unbiased and someone that could give me professional help to help me realize, that my mental health was on a decline, but how I can help build myself back up. So yeah, try therapy, guys, if you guys can, if you guys have the resources to. I know it's scary. I know there's worries about jumping to different therapists, but give it a try. And if you realize that's not something for you, it's not something for you, but at least you tried. This second question is, what have you done this past year that has evolved your mindset for the future? There's 2 things I want to talk about here. The things that have happened this past year that has evolved my mindset for the future is your systems are super important. And what I mean by systems are the things that are supporting your habits and the things that you are doing to achieve the goals that you want to. For example, let's take a typical one, meal prep, right? Instead of taking time to cook and do all these certain things, having your meals already prepped is a lot less work for you to hit the macros or nutritional measures that you have to meet, right? Another thing is preparing for the next day. Something that I do is always lay out my gym clothes because I know that I have to get up early in the morning and I don't want to use my brain energy at 5 a.m. basically to figure out what am I going to wear, right? That's me wasting time, wasting energy. And if I just have my clothes out there, even if I'm the most tired, my body somehow, some way builds that into a habit of like, hey, the clothes is here, put it on. That's what our mindset is into achieving towards the fitness goal that I so want to achieve. Let's talk about, let's bring it to financially, right? If you automate something within your paycheck of like, hey, $10 is going to my high yield savings account or my savings account or towards this fund that I have to buying a house, whatever it is. $10 just seems really low for a house. You should really think about that. But anyways, you're automating or building a part of your system that supports the person that you want to be or the thing that you want to achieve. There are things that are against the system. So for example, if you want to stop snacking, you have all these snacks in your house or unhealthy snacks. That's not really helping get to where you want to be. So that's an example of something where your system does not help you support the person that you want to be. So systems are super important because our brain has so many decisions and we make so many decisions in the day. And the less energy that we have to making those certain decisions can really help us if we automate our lives. And I'm not saying autopilot, but automate in a way we can make habits and the harder things in our life a lot easier. So I realize systems are super important, and that's the mindset shift I have for the future, especially when I have kids and trying to understand what schedule and what things are going to work so that I cannot burn myself out, but also take care of my family and achieve the things that I want to achieve. Another thing is, and this is something that has come from a guest on the podcast and someone that I look up to, and he knows this, is my soon-to-be brother-in-law, Zach Aguga. He has been a guest on this podcast multiple times. And the thing that he really taught me, the experience that I have learned from him is, as bad as it sounds, as cliche as it sounds, just do it. There's no time for complaining, just do it. And to give you guys the context of the story was, I was ranting to him about, struggles or things that I feel frustrated and overwhelmed by, right? I had a whole list of maybe 10 different things. And after I told him everything, he was like, okay, and I was like, what do you mean, okay, and? And for me, for someone coming from a household where, how do I best describe this? Coming from a household where tough love was the thing that was supposed to help me. In reality, from my perspective, it was just yelling in my face to do certain things and I didn't like it. And I just did it just to do it. So triggering a traumatic experience, right? Triggering trauma in my life within my own childhood. But understanding, Zach comes from a military background and how he grew up too. That was how he was taught. And he was saying that, you have all these certain things, just do them. And I was like, what do you mean? And actually, we talked about this, but I actually got mad because I was like, that's not the kind of support that I needed at the time. But that's who he is as a person. And there's a balance of that, right? Letting other people know how you like to receive things versus, how they are as a person. That's a conversation that you have in different relationships. But the conversations that we had, I was like, okay, I understand that's who you are as a person. And I can't take it, too personal. But for him saying, just do it, as I reflected, I understood. I was like, okay, everybody has 20, 30, 50 things that they have to do in their life. If we sit there, take the time to complain, we are not progressing towards the list. We're just complaining, letting time go by in space. And there is no action towards the things you actually have to achieve. So understanding that, hey, I know I have this many things. Let's prioritize it. And that's why I've implemented having the Eisenhower Matrix. If you haven't been experienced this before, feel free to look it up. It is something that can help you prioritize the many millions of things that we have in our minds. And for me, I get so overwhelmed when there are so many things on my freaking list. I think the real lesson in that is, instead of complaining, just do it and just figure it out, because somehow, some way, we always figure it out. And the last question is, how has the first 5 months of 2026 treated you? Now, I want to tell you, the first thought when I read this question, the first thought that my brain wanted to say was, it's okay. No, I am trying to do better of not downplaying my achievements and the things that I have been working on. I always downplay myself. I think it's just part of, not boasting and showing off, because that's how I was taught. Don't show off. Remain humble, but I was too humble. Just downplaying what I do. It's like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. But no, dude, you're doing great, amazing things. Talk your shit. Be proud of it. And after reflecting, on these first 5 months, that overall it is great. Okay, I've been doing really well with my cut on my fitness journey, and one of my goals is to have a successful cut block. Another one is, I'm still traveling. I was able to relieve a huge financial debt off of my hands. New hair, evolving myself, trying to figure out what kind of look that I want to go for. Putting in money allocated that to fashion. I'm at a point where I feel like I'm always evolving. And it's so crazy, because that is literally what becoming the highest version of ourselves is like, you're always constantly evolving and never staying stagnant. Not to say that you're not going to come to a point in your life where you are going to be stagnant. There are going to be those times, but you're not going to be in that space for too long. And I just feel like there are so many things that I want to achieve about myself, mentally, financially, physically, that I just feel like I'm on a never-ending journey to always improve myself. But also understanding that, hey, taking the wins, being proud of myself for what I have done so far, and just live in this evolution and being proud of it. So to answer that question, overall, the first 5 months have been amazing due to really focusing on my fitness journey, getting back into this mental health space to understand what I can do to make sure that my self-worth is valued and make myself feel like I am valuable, and listening to what my friends are saying because they think I'm valuable. So I need to as well. Gaining XP on new life experiences, whether that's, new concert experiences, new food experiences, meeting different people, or strengthening the relationships that I currently have, and having that focus. I am smiling from ear to ear because I just downplayed so much of what I have been working on and what I'm achieving, because I have such a high expectation of myself that I didn't necessarily feel like it met that expectation. Guys, it really is just reflecting and being proud of where you are today, and the person that you are, and how much work that you have put in. And overall, these first 5 months, despite the hiccups that I've had physically, mentally, I am progressing in the way that I want to, and just taking in the moment now that things are going well, and being grateful, absolutely grateful that they are. So thank you guys so much for submitting those questions. Please continue to. You can DM me, wait for another Q&A post, whatever it is, whatever contacted me. I want to engage with you guys as much as possible. And those are 3 lovely questions, and I can't wait to expand on them moving forward. I really hope you guys like this episode. Hope you really resonate with something, whether you are in the same progression as me, whether you learned something new about the thing that I wish I knew sooner, or the thing that I know has helped me become the highest version of myself. Whatever it is, I hope there was something from this podcast episode that has really helped you and resonated with you. And as always, guys, let's fall in love with the process of getting better every day, becoming the highest version of ourselves. I love y'all so much.